Well, they have done it again. Olive Branch is popping up again on one of these lists as the top places to live. This time, Fortune.com has got it listed as number 36 on their top 50 best places for families to live. And I was already getting ready to make a video about Olive Branch today, and I saw this, and so I figured I'd go ahead and tell you about it. What's going on here in Olive Branch? Why are they ranking it as a top 50, number 36 actually, and it ranked ahead of some other places not too far away. Smyrna, Tennessee was a little farther down the list. Little Rock, Arkansas, a little farther down the list. But right here in Olive Branch, that's the Memphis Metro area entry into their list here on Fortune. And why are they doing that? Well, they've got some stats here. As you can see, median home prices, 303. Median household income, 91,000. So a good ratio there. Good bit of diversity, good graduation rate, good hospitals within 25 miles. 50% of patients recommend eight of the hospitals within 25 miles. So some good stats why they have got it ranked here at number 36 for best places to live for families on their list on Fortune.com. I'll put that link down below so you can check out that full article and see the whole list. But let's go ahead and get into the pros and cons of living in Olive Branch. I already had this planned out for today, and so we're still going to get into it. And number one is one they pointed out, but we'll go a little bit deeper into it, and that is the cost of living. Now, obviously, they had the median home price at $303,000. You do have a lot of new growth. A lot of that is actually going to be new construction here in the Olive Branch area. So that might actually be pulling that number up a bit, because you do have a good bit of new construction that is in the, $500,000 and $600,000 range. That's pretty popular, because if you jump across that state line, it's going to be a good bit more than that. Often for, maybe the same build or same floor plan. If you go up into the Germantown, Collierville area, than it is over here on the Olive Branch side. So that's a good factor for some people. If if you're going to be going all the way downtown, or if you're going to the north side of Memphis to commute, you've got to weigh those things. But you can get a lot more home for your money typically on the Mississippi side. But that's not where the savings end. You also don't have a transfer tax. So in Tennessee, you've got a transfer tax. When you do that, the property taxes, it's going to depend on where you go and what you've got. It could be pretty close on an annual basis going forward, but at least when you buy, you can typically save yourself $2,000 or $3,000 on the transfer tax on the Mississippi side. So that's something that a lot of people I don't think realize. Honestly, I didn't even realize that for a long time after I lived here, just because I didn't realize that Tennessee had the transfer tax. So we don't have that on the Mississippi side. And there are a few things like that you just might not realize if you don't already know about it. That's why you need to have somebody here on the ground that knows these things working for you if you're thinking about making a move here to the Memphis area. And if you are, you got to hit us up here. Call, text, email, whatever it takes. Get in touch with us. You can shoot us a DM. I really don't care how you get in touch with us, but I'm a realtor here on the Mississippi side. You got Kris up there on the Tennessee side. Anywhere you want to go in the Memphis area, we got you covered, and we won't let you end up singing the blues. About to move here to the home of the blues, anywhere in the Memphis area. But you also have a little bit lower sales tax. Mississippi, you've got 7%. Tennessee, it's typically going to run a little closer to 10% for the sales tax. Now, the con to that, obviously, you do have an income tax in Mississippi. It's not too bad, it's 4% or 5% depending on the brackets, and supposedly they're going to be getting rid of that, but you've got an income tax that you don't have on the Tennessee side. So I think that's going to balance out a little bit of that difference on the sales tax and the transfer tax. And the other place where they're going to get you is that vehicle registration tax if you've got a newer or higher value vehicle. It isn't as bad as it was a few years ago. A few years ago, you could buy a $40,000 car and pay $700-800 when you go get your tag the first time. Whereas I just checked recently, and for about the same price, that maybe has come down to closer to $300. So it's still kind of high, a good bit higher than the Tennessee side, where it's going to be around, maybe about $90, pretty much no matter what you have. But something to think about. Cost of living, going both ways. I still think it's overall a pro, because you're going to save money for most people by the time you kind of add all that together, unless maybe if you do have that very high income, in which case I guess you can go live in Tennessee. Do what you want to do. The next thing, the pro on here I've got is just all the things to do here, and they pointed this out in their article on Fortune as well. You've got all the parks, you've got sports, you know. So again, their list was for families. So if you've got kids playing sports, you've got a lot of opportunity to do that in the Olive Branch area. There's also other things to do. You've got several golf courses, you've got a movie theater, you've got a lot of shopping too, just across the line up there in Tennessee, as well as obviously the one in South Haven. You've got the outlets there, which are just, you know, pop right over to I-55 and you're at the outlets. So a lot of stuff to do there. But on the flip side of that, you're still not in the city. You're going to be more rural than you are city when you're living here in Olive Branch. And you know, what does that mean? You don't have a lot of nightlife. So they pretty much roll the streets up about 5 or 6 o'clock, and there's not a lot going on for you to do nightlife wise. And you do have a little bit further commute, like I mentioned earlier. So you're not just right in the center of everything. If you want to go catch a Grizzlies game, you want to go hang out, catch the nightlife scene, or you just want to go downtown, or if you work right downtown, you're going to be driving a little ways to do that. Probably about 35-40 minutes, depending on where you are here in the Olive Branch area. But there is another pro that comes with not being right in the center of everything, and that is the crime. You don't have a very high crime rate here. I did check the stats on this, and the violent crime in Olive Branch is about half of what you'll see on the national average, and it's many times lower than what you have in the city of Memphis, and honestly probably most major cities. If you're in that core city, it's going to be a good bit lower than that. I think we were at somewhere around a 2, and the national average was around a 4, and Memphis was around a 17. So I'll put a link to these stats where we pulled them up. But yeah, a good bit lower crime rates. And I don't know what kind of a con you could pull with the lower crime rate. I don't have one to correspond with that, but I do have another pro, and that is another thing they pointed out, which is just the schools here. You've got schools that a lot of people are pretty happy with. You've got that 90% graduation rate, ranking pretty well on niche.com. I'll put those links. I like to use them because it's just visually, it's easy to see what they're saying and how they're ranking things. So niche.com, good, cool, or niche.com, however you want to say it. But you've got that as a tool there. And one last con I'll give you, and this one is just, I think it's just a consequence of the growth. And you know, everybody, they've been talking about Olive Branch for years being one of the fastest growing cities, obviously in Mississippi and in the Memphis Metro area. And with all that growth, infrastructure has to catch up, and sometimes it takes a little time to do that. Now, it has done that in some ways. In some places you come through and you see they've got new roads, widened roads, you know, especially the major arteries coming through. They've done a lot to improve that, but in some other areas where you've got some newer developments, you may have a lot of traffic coming through, and just an old four-way, 2-lane stop with no light, nothing like that, just a stop sign, and you could be kind of sitting through that to get in traffic, and you may want to avoid those places just because, again, they haven't caught up with all the people that have moved to Olive Branch. So tell me, are you thinking about moving to Olive Branch? Again, if you are, we got the number for you to call, text, email. What do you got to do? Get in touch with us. We can help you out making that move here to the Olive Branch area. And of course, if you want to see more content about Olive Branch, South Haven, DeSoto County, and the whole Memphis area, you got to hit that subscribe button and click the bell. You'll get notified when our new videos come out. You don't want to miss them. We don't want y'all to end up singing the blues about your move to anywhere here in the Memphis area, even on the Mississippi side. If you are still considering this whole area and you want to know more about just the pros and cons of Olive Branch, if you want to know the whole area, we're pretty specific on this video about Olive Branch. We've done one, more than one probably, but we've done one about the entire Memphis area to give you a better feel of, you know, if you're coming from somewhere else, what it's like just living in this area. And if you are thinking about it, you should check out the video right there. See ya.